You're watching CBS News Los Angeles, The Rundown.
Yes, you are. Hi there, I'm Jasmine Veal, and here's a look at your top stories, beginning with the two men arrested and charged with multiple felonies and two disturbing sexual assaults in Culver City and another in Long Beach. LA County DA George Gascón held a news conference this afternoon announcing the charges against Martin Lopez and Marcos Maldonado. Both men have a criminal history. The Culver City police chief says last month Maldonado broke into a family's home around 8 a.m. through a sliding door, sexually assaulted a minor, telling her that her family would be killed if she didn't comply. Well, they arrested him last week. And then in Long Beach on December 27th, authorities say Lopez posed as a police officer and sexually assaulted and robbed a woman in her car.
After a bystander intervened, the defendant drove away. Fingerprints and the license plate number led to Lopez's arrest. If he is convicted of all charges and allegations, he faces 75 years to life in state prison.
Investigators believe there are other victims and they are asking them to come forward. They are also seeking the public's help for any information on these crimes. They say you can call the Long Beach or Culver City police departments. Well, we have learned the reason for Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's hospitalization. He is being treated for prostate cancer at Walter Reed Medical Center in Maryland. The Pentagon says the 70-year-old had a minimally invasive surgical procedure on December 22nd. He then developed a UTI, went back to the hospital, and he's still there in good condition. No word on when he will be released, but Austin, he was criticized for the lack of transparency about his health. Former President Donald Trump was in court again Tuesday, trying to get the election interference case tossed, claiming presidential immunity. He spoke to reporters while leaving the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C. Take a look.
You can't have a president without immunity. You have to have, as a president, you have to be able to do your job.
Well, inside the courtroom, Trump's team argued presidential official acts are not reviewable by the courts, with one exception, getting impeached and then convicted by the U.S. Senate. Now, the Office of Special Counsel Jack Smith called that claim baseless, saying presidential immunity would allow a future president to take bribes or even order the National Guard to murder his most prominent critics.
The president has a unique constitutional role, but he is not above the law.
Former President Trump is attending this court hearing voluntarily. Whoever loses this decision will likely appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, which actually could delay Trump's scheduled March 4th trial date. All right, let's turn to our chilly weather forecast as we are tracking several issues in our region as we take a live look at Malibu this afternoon. I know the sun is out, but there are some flooding concerns, even gusty winds now that we're talking about. Turning it over to our KCAL News meteorologist Olga Ospina now with a look at the next weather in just a few minutes, as she can not only address those very chilly temperatures, but what's on the way, below freezing in some regions. A frightening night for an Irvine woman after a driver slams into her house, causing it to catch fire. KCAL News reporter Michelle Geely is working on this story and just spoke to her.
A woman who was inside of her Irvine home last night, specifically inside of the kitchen, really has an incredible story to tell. I spoke to her just a little bit ago, and she says that she thought that she was going to die inside of here. It was around 9:20 last night when a speeding car came through the neighborhood. I'm on Payne, right near the 405 freeway, and this car missed the turn, went straight through her living room here, which is adjacent to the kitchen where she was sitting. She says that the refrigerator practically fell on top of her. She managed to escape, and then the house caught fire. She says that she realized that her 15-year-old Pomeranian was trapped inside of the house. It's a 15-year-old dog who has trouble seeing and hearing, so she ran back inside to save the dog. So you can see there are workers here today kind of shoring up the structure. She and her mother, who was at work at the time, stayed with relatives, but we did speak to her, and she shares the frightful night that she had.
And now to this, the nation's first mission to return astronauts to the moon in over 50 years is being pushed back. NASA officials announced today that Artemis 2 is now set for September of next year instead of later this year. And Artemis 3, which was scheduled to send humans to the lunar South Pole in late 2025, has been bumped to September of 2026. Administrator Bill Nelson explained the reason for these delays.
Safety is our top priority, and to give Artemis teams more time to work through the challenges with first-time developments, operations, and integration, we're going to give more time on Artemis 2 and 3.
Nelson also says those 4 astronauts selected for the Artemis 2 mission continue to train for the trip. They include 3 Americans and 1 Canadian. The U.S. Department of Education is giving Cal State University Northridge a $3 million grant to help underserved students. The goal is to increase the number of students studying science, technology, arts, and other disciplines. Along with this grant, CSUN will work with some of LA's community colleges to help students transfer to that university. And this has been CBS News Los Angeles' The Rundown. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back live at 3 o'clock right here on CBS News Los Angeles.